Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, one of the things that I talked a little about last week, I talked about in a report about how the angle of the hook and how you hook your soft plastic bait on it can make such a difference in terms of whether you hook the fish or not. But what I want to do is talk a little bit this week about hook design. You know, I think of all the things that when we go fishing, average fisherman, not the zoned in, dyed-in-the-wool, obsessive fisherman that some of us become, but just the average fisherman takes for granted, I think, the hooks that they use. And I know as a kid, we didn't have the choices. You just bought a package of hooks. They were usually snelled hooks, and you just had different sizes to choose, but they were all pretty much the same, and you just adapted to it. You fished that way. But hook companies have come so far with the growth and the expansion of technological opportunities that the hooks that we can buy come in all shapes, sizes, looks, and they all have a very specific purpose. And perhaps you can take this too far, but I think there's certain things that we have to be aware of. Number one, the hook design, whether the shank is long or short, determines what type of things we put, what type of soft plastics or bait we put on there, and how it looks. The size of the hook. The size of the hook, we can choose the very same design hook, but the size can make such a difference. Some of us like to use great big hooks because we're using heavier rods, and we figure that the big hook will hook into those big fish better and we'll have a better chance of landing them. But others, and me included, prefer smaller hooks because I believe that smaller hooks can have just as big an impact of hooking the fish, and maybe more so because they tend to be thinner and sharper, and they can penetrate easier. But here's the other thing we have to think about. The size of the hook is going to determine its weight, and the weight and size is going to determine what our offering looks like. Now, let's take something that you shouldn't even have to worry about. Let's take a crankbait, a little plug, whether it's fat or thin. It has trebles that are attached to it that the manufacturers think are the best. But a lot of fishermen will tend to change those hooks. Number one, they'll have more confidence in a hook they think is sharper. Or if you put a bigger hook on, replace the smaller hook with a bigger treble, then a lot of fishermen think, okay, that's going to hook the fish better. But that bigger hook is going to be heavier, and so it's going to change the balance of the lure you use. And so remember, whenever you do a change, you're going to affect what your lure looks like. There's so much to think about, and it's so difficult to cover every aspect in just a small report. But I think it's really critical that we start looking, because we have such a choice. We've got hooks out there that are designed for every type of fishing. We can take advantage of that, but we also can become creative. And it helps us, no matter what lure or bait we're using, we can sort of modify it to be something special just for us. It makes that creative part of fishing rise to the top a little bit more, and I think makes it more enjoyable. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.